Hello and welcome to the first in a series of Fly around Scotland, which also will be with Fly UK. We're on the ground at Edinburgh Airport and we are flying to EGPI Islay Airport, which is about a 55-minute flight. It's 5:30 in the morning, so it's very early. Most people are still in bed, but there are a few aircraft around. So we're going to close the doors and then we will start the pre-flight checklist. I've already walked around the aircraft this morning, so with the outside inspection has been done. So what we just need to do is power up the internal electronics of the aircraft and turn off the master warning. Just waiting for the avionics to initialize. And we will shortly be starting the engines. But first we will need to set the autopilot to 7,000 feet initially, because that is our initial cleared altitude. And then we will be flying up to 14,000 feet. So set that for 7,000. Check the weather conditions. So there are a few clouds at 5,200 feet, and now we will start the engines. Okay, we're now back in the cockpit and we can now begin our pushback start. There is an aircraft I can hear to my left, so just need to be careful of that. And as the passengers are quite dozy and hungover from last night, we'll have a bit of relaxing music while we do our taxi. Hopefully the flight will be a smooth flight, otherwise I think they may need sick bags, because one thing I've noticed about this plane is affected quite a lot by the weather. That plane is getting quite loud now, so I'm going to wait here for a second while it passes. I think it's just passing just behind me now. Yep, there it goes, definitely I can hear it. I've already set the pressurization and we will be using the FMC, but of course I've forgotten to switch on the seatbelt signs. And we need to set the strobes as well. Now that plane has gone now, there it goes. So we will follow the plane all the way to the runway. The add-ons I'm using are Ultimate Traffic 2 for the AI traffic, FTX Scotland, and Active Skynex for the weather, and just using the default cloud textures because I think they look pretty good really. And the airport is provided by Uk2000 and the plane is by Carenado. Don't want to get too close to the plane in front, so we'll probably just halt here. I can see there's an EasyJet plane as well on the right hand side, so we'll just wait here for a second and give that plane a little bit of space before we go onto the taxiway. The plan is, once I get to the runway, I'll show you the passenger view for takeoff, and then once we start our climb, I will come back and then we'll talk about hopefully what this series is going to provide, and also if you've got any questions or comments, then please do let me know. I definitely don't profess to know what I'm doing. I'm still really learning. We actually got rudder pedals as well, so definitely a step up from having to use the yoke. So any comments or suggestions for future videos, or even places to go in Scotland, would be gratefully received. So we leave Edinburgh Airport behind now, and it looks like it's going to be a nice day today. As I said, the flight should take roughly 50 to 55 minutes, and this flight actually leaves at 6 AM every day on the Fly UK schedule. A bit of history about Islay Airport is apparently Prince Charles had a mishap when he was coming into land in the 1990s, and he actually overshot the runway. And I've only flown here a couple of times, and I can see how that can be done, but the airport is a nice place to fly. In real life they have 6 arrivals and 6 departures a day, and the carriers are Flyuk and Hebridean Air Services. So we've got a good distance between ourselves and the plane in front, so I'm happy with that. Flaps have already been done. I'm using FS Recorder to actually record the flight. I thought it might be easier, but on hindsight it may actually be easier for me just to do it live, but hopefully it will go okay. So anyway, I'm going to leave you now with the passenger view. Enjoy the takeoff. Down on the right hand side there you can see the two football stadia as we now begin to leave Edinburgh behind, make our way up towards our initial altitude of 7,000 feet. As you can see, there are a few clouds out there on the right hand side, and I think the ceiling was 5,200, so we're probably a little bit under that at the moment. Yeah, looking at the altimeter, we are just over 4,500 feet now, so we will expect to go through the clouds quite shortly, and hopefully it won't be too bumpy for the passengers, as they do seem nice and quiet at the moment. Well, what I'm going to do is leave you with a bit of music while we continue our climb up to the initial altitude of 7,000 feet. Welcome back. We continue with our climb, and the clouds have gone through the clouds, I think now, pretty much. Just a few wispy ones around, and once we do get up to cruising altitude, we will be serving cooked breakfast, because that's what we do on this flight. We might only have 19 passengers, but we do look after them well. Unfortunately, no cooked breakfast for me. I'll have to wait until I get to Islay. I do believe there is a cafe nearby, which sounds good to me. So with this series, what I would like to do is fly around all of the airports that are on the Fly UK schedule, and also if you have any suggestions for airports that you would like me to fly in Scotland, then please do drop me a line. With FTX Scotland, all of the airports get a makeover, so they're sort of halfway between default airports and full payware airports. I do have, there is one that FTX Orbx have done, Sunborough, which is a really nice airport, and we will be going there as well, but that's a bit of a longer flight. I think that's about an hour and a half flight from Edinburgh, but that will be coming later on in the series. So yes, hopefully I will be making these quite regularly. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and to be honest, I didn't realise how much work was involved with doing it. I'm using Fraps to record the flight, and whilst it's not perfect, it does drop a few frames. You can see wind farms down there. That's pretty cool. It's not too bad, but it does obviously affect with the frame rates a little bit. So I think if the weather's really bad, then it may be worse. I have heard of something called shadow play, which I believe is quite popular, and that it doesn't take any frame rate hit at all. I don't know if any of you guys can actually confirm that if you have any actual use of it. But at the moment I've just been using Fraps, which it does the job, and it's very easy to set up. But obviously it would be great to be able to record videos without the knock-on with the frame rates, really. So with the series, I would like to do one a week. Ideally it'd probably be one every 2 weeks, to be honest. We just need to turn the landing lights now, and also we can turn the seatbelt sign off, so the passengers are free to move around, but as breakfast will be served shortly, I'm pretty sure they're going to be seated. So we are over 10,000 feet now, so we've only got less than 4,000 feet to go before we are at full cruising altitude. Hope you like the outside shot of the plane. It's a pretty good plane. I do like it. Carenado always seem to make nice looking planes. They may not have the best systems in the world, but I'm still learning how to use the FMS and things like that. It is a pretty good halfway house between default aircraft and PMDG aircraft. It does have a weather radar of sorts. I don't know whether it's obviously not as good as the PMDG one, and it's got traffic detection as well. So it's a pretty good plane, even though the documentation that comes with it is not the best in the world. So yeah, please, if you do have any suggestions of places that you would like me to fly, and also, as I said, whether you would like me just to record the whole flight or maybe just part of the flight, like I've done with this one. Even though it's a 55-minute flight, I have cut out a little bit of it because I think this is going to be about 37 minutes long, so you're going to miss a little bit of it, but nothing major. And obviously I thought for the very first flight anyway, I don't want to make it too long, otherwise I'll never get it uploaded in the first place. There's a few more clouds beginning to bubble up as we leave the Scottish mainland now. Cruising speed is pretty good as well. And in fact, I do believe now we are beginning to start our descent. So we are about 55 miles away from Islay Airport at this moment in time. So it's literally a short hop from Edinburgh to Islay. So it will probably be 15 minutes or so before we are actually on the ground. I'm actually running DirectX 9 for this. I have tried the DirectX 10 with a fixer, which I actually use on my other machine just for daily use, and I am pretty impressed with it. I have tried out P3D, and whilst it does look nice, I still have slight issues with the anti-aliasing. It just doesn't look as good as FSX unless you use Video Inspector to really turn up the settings, and then you fly through clouds and the frame rate just disappears. So this is the boxed edition that I'm using of FSX. I have also got Steam Edition on on my other machine. So yeah, a bit about me while we are beginning our descent. I've been into flight simulation for probably 25 years, but was a very late comer to FSX. My first flight simulator that I do remember flying was Solo Flight by Microprose in the late 80s, where you used to pick up mail from one airport to an airport with vector graphics. It was very basic, but that was the first one. And then there was one called Kennedy Approach, where you were an air traffic controller that had speech synthesis, which was quite ahead of its time, really. So I've always been interested in flight simulator and simulation in general. I used to also fly. I think it was F-17 stealth bomber by Microprose as well, which was really good. Microprose, I think, developed a lot of simulations at the time. But yes, I was a very late comer to FSX. I did buy 2004, but I never really tried it. We should put our landing lights on, and now breakfast is over, so they had to scoff down the English breakfast this morning. Seatbelts now back on, as we are now under 10,000 feet, and it won't be too long before we are on the ground. So yeah, I was a latecomer to FSX. I've only actually been using it really for two and a half years now, and I think the beauty of it is that the add-ons that you can now get for it were probably never envisaged when it was actually released all those years ago, and it's pretty amazing what you can do with it. I actually live about 30 miles from Gatwick Airport, so in Kent. But I am actually on the flight path, so planes are a regular occurrence that fly down my street, which is quite funny, because you can get these apps now where you can see what the plane is, and you look up in the sky and the plane is there as well. So I fly FSX mainly for enjoyment, and I do enjoy watching videos, and guys like Matt Davies and Frugal, and I got the inspiration actually to do this from one of the guys I'm a member of the Gatwick Flight Simulation group. One of the guys did a talk, Mark Russell, and he did a demonstration on how to make videos, and it really gave me some inspiration to have a go myself. So hopefully it will give me more confidence to do this sort of thing and to actually make more of them. And it will be great to get any comments. I don't profess to know exactly what I'm doing, and no doubt I am doing things wrong, so if you can give me any pointers to what I'm doing or what you would like to see, then I would really, really appreciate it. But I just wanted to say thank you, Mark, for giving me the enthusiasm to actually have a go at doing this, so I really appreciate it. So I've been a member of Fly UK for just over 2 years now, and which I really enjoy. They do flights worldwide, and I think the stipulation is that you just need to do one flight a month, which isn't too bad. And they have from local flights like this to long haul flights, and you can start off by just doing flights like these. I think you have access to even a 737, and as you go up through the ranks you can use other planes. You can fly online, which one day I would like to do, but at the moment I think that's just too far out of my comfort zone. It's about taking one step at a time. But if you are thinking about joining a virtual airline, then I do recommend them, and I will put their link in the notes below this video. Also, I will list all the add-ons that I use as well. Whilst we've still got a bit of time before my descent to 2100, I think we will be eventually going to, I would also just like to give a shout out to my friend Frick in the USA. Hi Frick, and I hope you're well, and your videos also has given me encouragement and just to see how well your videos have gone, and I thought it's always something that I wanted to do, so I hope you enjoyed the video too. So looking out, it's pretty clear at the moment. There's a few clouds, but it's really smooth, so I don't think we are going to be delayed, and hopefully we will be arriving on time. So we now enter the final approach towards Islay, and it's all looking good. Altitude is fine. It's nice and stable, which is such a surprise. Was not actually expecting this. Normally, as I come into approach airports in this plane, it's all over the place, and I'm fighting to hold it in a straight line. But today, it's looking good. So we should literally be landing in about 5 minutes or so. Just trying to rack my brains to see if I've forgotten to do anything, but I don't think so. Landing gear is not down yet, and we'll do that once I actually can see the airport. Just a bit of mist, but apart from that, I'm pretty happy with the weather. It's been pretty kind to us today. Obviously the advantage of using Active Sky Next is that you can either fly live weather or you can actually use historic weather. So if you want to fly in a thunderstorm that you've had, you can do it, which is great. But no problems today. So we are now literally flying over the island now, and we will be turning very shortly. So everyone's strapped in, and it's going to be time for the landing. Well, I can safely say that was one of my worst landings ever. I'm not sure what happened there. I think technically I was a bit short. I don't know about being too long and running out of runway. I didn't use hardly any runway at all. Not very happy with the landing. I suppose it wasn't hard. The passengers didn't complain or anything. So anyway, we now taxied off the main runway and we will be parking next to the terminal, which is just up here. So this airport is been enhanced from the default. It's a nice little airport, and there's some nice static planes that you get, as you will see as we come up. And actually the weather looks like it's actually improved, so it was a pretty smooth flight. I have had some really bad ones using this aircraft, but today was actually one of the better ones. Just sorry about the landing there. Have to practice that again. Maybe it was the pressure of knowing I was going to record it or something. So technically this is runway 26, but I've used it as a taxiway. Not sure I should have done that. Whoops. So what I'm going to do is just park just up on the right hand side, and you may actually see some people at this airport because Orbx use something called people flow, which I'm sure you already know, enables people to walk about. Yep, there are some over there, and that looks a bit like a cafe there, so it looks like I could have my breakfast after dropping off the passengers. And there's some general aviation aircraft there as well. It's a lovely little airport, really nice. And there's a guy there. Is he a guy filming? Looks like he is. So anyway, it's time to shut down the aircraft and let the passengers off. Okay, turn off the seatbelt signs, as now it's time to let the passengers, they can now disembark the aircraft, and I just need to turn off everything and let them out. And look, there is a guy there actually filming. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do leave some comments and let me know what you think, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye.